Hello everybody, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Today's lecture we continue chapter 3 part 2 carbohydrates. Okay, so in this part carbohydrate function will be elaborated and also the carbohydrate and health will be discussed. So in this slide we see the function of the carbohydrate is to provide energy. The main function of carbohydrate is to provide energy. So what happens if we eat extra or excessive glucose? So the extra or excessive glucose in our blood will be stored as glycogen. So glycogen actually can be stored in muscle or liver. So in muscles, the glycogen will provide the glucose to the muscle because the muscle need energy. So the energy source is come from glucose. So during activity, we use energy. Okay, for example, walking, talking, writing, doing activities that involve muscle movement. Okay, in the liver, the glycogen will be broken down into glucose and it will transported throughout the body to deliver the blood glucose to the cells. Okay, what are the correlation or association between carbohydrate intake and health? Okay, high diet, high glucose or carbohydrate will associated with dental caries. Okay, so as a carbohydrate in and themselves are not fattening, so high fructose corn syrup will add a kilocalories. Low carbohydrate weight loss diet effectively in a short term, but in the long run, in the long term, there's no available study done. Okay, so especially for people who have a problem with their body weight, okay, maybe obese people, okay, they are encouraged to take a lot of unrefined carbohydrate. Please remember, okay, what are the difference between refined and unrefined carbohydrate? Okay, unrefined carbohydrate, they contain the whole part which is rich in nutrients, the real food which is very good for our health. So in maintaining or reducing excessive body weight, so we will suggest to eat a lot of unrefined carbohydrate. Okay, diet high in sugar and refined starch also increase the demand for insulin. Okay, please bear in your mind, if you eat a lot of sugar, this sugar will enter your body and ask your pancreas to secrete a lot of insulin. So insulin will be secreted by your pancreas to meet the requirement, to meet the demands. Okay, so it may lead to diabetes. Okay, so if your insulin is high in your blood and your cell cannot recognize the presence of insulin, it will increase the risk of your body to develop diabetes. Okay, so diet in high whole grain or other unrefined carbohydrate, okay, which is very good for our health. So it will reduce the risk of heart disease. If you love your heart, please take a lot of whole grain and unrefined carbohydrate in your daily intake. Okay. Next, diet high in digestible carbohydrate is very important. It can reduce and prevent certain disorders such as pressure in the lumen of the colon, So if you have problem with constipation, with bowel movement, so it's very useful if you eat a lot of indigestible carbohydrate. Okay, next we will cover about the what are the diseases related to carbohydrate. Okay, so lactose intolerance, one of the disease. Okay, lactose intolerance is referred to a condition in which people have symptoms due to decreased ability to digest lactose. Okay, if you remember, we have a disaccharide and monosaccharide. Okay, so sugar found in milk called lactose. So lactose, when we drink milk, okay, we actually we actually eat a lactose, milk sugar. Lactose will be broken down in the body by enzyme, brain enzyme named lactase. So this enzyme, if the level of this enzyme is very low in our body, so it will cause our ability to digest lactose impaired. Okay, digestion of the ability to digest the lactose will be impaired. Okay, so in newborns, okay, normally the lactase level of the lactase is high, but the level of the lactase decrease with the age. Okay, if the lactase level decline so much, what will happen? That the lactose cannot be completely digested, and this is called lactose intolerance. Okay, the undigested lactose and the acid and also gas produced by the bacterial digestion draw water into intestine and cause many health problems such as abdominal distension, gas, cramping, and also diarrhea. Okay, apart from lactose intolerance, okay, what are the disease related to carbohydrate? Diabetes, very good. Okay, diabetes mellitus. Okay, one of the chronic diseases. Okay, one of the most prevalent chronic diseases in Malaysia. Okay. So diabetes mellitus is a disease in which the body's ability to produce a respond to the hormone insulin. Insulin hormone is impaired. Okay, the ability to produce or to respond to the hormone insulin is impaired. Okay, this will lead to abnormal metabolism of carbohydrate, and subsequently the level of glucose in blood and urine will increase. Okay, can you imagine? Okay, you eat a lot of sugar or carbohydrate, and insulin will secreted in your blood. However, the insulin cannot be used by the sugar, and the sugar level is maintained at high level. So this will cause diabetes mellitus. Okay, diabetes mellitus can be treated by diet, exercise, and medication. Okay, diet, how to modify our diet. Okay, patient with diabetes mellitus can control the blood glucose level by exchange the normal high glucose intake. Okay, control the blood glucose level by consuming a lot of unrefined sugar or real food, which is for a food that is not undergo refining process. Okay. Other than that, they also can increase the sense. They can also increase the physical activity level. Okay, by doing exercise, they actually increase the sensitivity of the body cell to insulin. So insulin is produced by our body, okay, and it will recognize the glucose and transport the glucose to the cell to be used. Okay, so the glucose level in our blood will reduce. Okay, if these two methods cannot be cannot control our blood glucose, so medication will be used. Okay, the medication, for example, injection of insulin for type 1 and also insulin injection for type 2 patient. Okay, so what is type 1 and type 2? Okay, so let us let us learn about type 1 and type 2 diabetes. Okay, for your information, there are two types of diabetes, type 1 and type 2. Okay, type 1 diabetes is usually caused by the autoimmune disruption. Okay, autoimmune disruption of insulin producing cells. In our pancreas, we have a cell that responsible to produce insulin. Okay, but in type 1 diabetes patient, they are unable to produce insulin because of disruption of insulin producing cells. Okay, so what will happen? The weight loss occur. Okay, patient will experience weight loss. Okay, glucose cannot enter the cells, so they are starved for energy. Okay, and fat is broken down for energy and ketones are produced. Okay, so once the patient eat glucose, but the glucose cannot be used by the cells. Okay, because insulin are not secreted by the pancreas, so they need the fat of the patient will be broken down to meet the energy requirement by the body, so that the body weight will become lesser and become the patient become thinner and thinner. Okay, type 2 diabetes, okay, occurs when insulin cannot function properly. It is very different compared to type 1 diabetes. Type 2 diabetes patient can produce insulins, okay, but the function of insulin is not happen. The function of insulin is impaired. Okay, the cell cannot respond to it normally. Okay, the insulin is there in the blood, but the cell cannot recognize the presence of insulin in the blood. Okay, as a result, okay, only limited amount of glucose can be enter the cell, and the patient blood glucose level will rise because glucose is not used by the cells. So what are the factors that contribute to the type 2 diabetes? Genetic factors and also lifestyle factors. Genetic factor is unmodifiable factors. We cannot modify our genetic. So what the treatment for diabetes 2? So we can modify our lifestyle, the patient lifestyle factors. Okay, this table shows the differentiation or comparison between type 1 diabetes and type 2 diabetes. Okay, the type 1 diabetes usually happen among people who are at young age. Okay, while the type 2 diabetes usually happen among older people. Okay, the type 1 diabetes, the symptom, for example, ketoacidosis, rapid onset occurs very rapid. Okay. However, in type 2 diabetes patient, the obvious symptom usually cannot be detected, cannot be shown, not obviously shown at the early stage. Okay, so How about the criteria for the obesity? Okay, type 1 diabetes, usually non-obese patient. We have type 1 diabetes. And for type 2 diabetes, obese patient usually have this type 2 diabetes. Okay. So the difference between the production of insulin, okay, type 1 diabetes patient, the body cannot produce insulins, whereas in type 2 diabetes patient, the insulin is secreted, okay, is secreted out, it's able to be secreted out, it's able to be produced, but the body cell are resistant to the insulins. Okay, the insulin secretion can be normal or abnormal, but usually normal insulin can be secreted, but the body cells are resistant to the insulin. They cannot recognize the presence of insulin in the blood, so that insulin will and so that the glucose level will remain at high level. Okay. The next the next differences are managed. Okay, the treatment for type 1 diabetes can be managed by insulin injection, okay, with diet and exercise control. For type 2 diabetes also can be treated by insulin, can be managed by insulin injection, diet and exercise control, and some of the patient they need oral medication. Which one is the most prevalent as compared to type 1 diabetes? Okay, the most prevalent diabetes is type 2 diabetes. Okay. Okay, what are the short and long term effect of the diabetes? So for the short term effect, the patient with diabetes will experience excessive thirst and frequent urination, and they also may experience blood vision and weight loss. Okay, the excessive thirst is because of the blood glucose level high in the kidney, and they have to excrete extra glucose, and this will cause extra fluid will be excreted out of the body. Okay, blood vision happen when the excess glucose enter the lens of the eyes and drawing water and cause the lens to swell. So they will impair the vision of the patient. Okay, weight loss is because cells are unable to use the glucose, so fat of the patient will be broken down and for the energy requirement, and it will cause the body weight reduce the body weight. Okay, for the long term effect of the diabetes, okay, it will damage the heart, blood vessel, kidney, eyes, and nerve. So it also results of prolonged exposure to high level of blood glucose. When glucose is high, it binds the protein and alters the cell function, and contributing to the blood vessel damage and abnormalities and the blood function. Hi, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Okay, so today we continue with the next subtopic for chapter 3 part 2. So blood glucose level rise after eating. Okay, glycemic response. So what do you understand about the glycemic response? Okay, so glycemic response is actually referred to how quickly and how high blood glucose rises after carbohydrate is consumed. Okay, so the rising of the blood glucose level after eating is quantified by glycemic index. So by using glycemic index, we can classify them into three main parts, which is low, moderate, and high GI. Okay, so diabetic are encouraged to choose food which is low GI. So how to differentiate between low, intermediate, or high? Okay, GI can be classified into three categories based on the index. 0 to 55 is considered low GI, whereas 56 to 60 is indicated that intermediate GI, and 71 until 100 is indicated as high GI. So diabetic are encouraged to choose low glycemic index food. Okay, so let us see this table. This table shows the food item and the two types of GI, low and high GI. Rice. You can choose to eat high GI rice or low GI rice. Example of high GI rice is glutinous rice, sticky rice, and waxy rice. Basmati rice, which is very good for diabetic patient because it drops. It's for the in low GI. So this type of rice is good for diabetic patient. Okay, noodles. You can choose to eat high GI or low GI noodles. Pasta and noodles, for example, classified as high GI, rice noodle, for example, mihun, and kujiao. Okay, so considered as low GI, which is good for you to eat low GI noodles. Okay, bread. If you like to eat bread for your breakfast, okay, make sure you choose low GI for your health. Okay, low GI bread for your health. For example, whole grain. Okay, if you go to supermarket, okay, you want to choose a white bread or whole grain bread. So it's better for you to choose whole grain bread because it is low GI food. Okay, another example of whole grain, rye, oats, and barleys. Okay, how about tubers? Tubers, for example, potatoes, yam, are classified as high GI, whereas sweet potatoes is considered as low GI, which is good for our health. Okay, so breakfast cereals, for example, processed breakfast cereals, very famous one, the cornflake. Okay, other names of the cereals can name it. Okay, so better you to choose unprocessed food because processed food they have GI, high in GI. Okay, so for unrefined cereals, for example, oatmeal or muesli, they fall under low GI, which is good for you to eat oatmeal during breakfast. Okay, how about fruits? Usually we always eat fruit for snack, okay, to obtain vitamin, minerals, okay, but make sure you choose fruit which is low GI. So tropical fruit, for example, bananas and watermelon, our local fruit, actually high GI. So it is better for you to choose low GI fruit. For example, citrus or temperate fruit. For example, apple, plum, and others fruits. Okay, next, let's see the glycemic index value of selected mentioned mixed food. For example, fried meat. Okay, GI for fried meat is 99, which is very high GI. 99, almost 100. Okay, fried macaroni 74. What class is the GI? Okay, it falls on the high GI also. On the high GI. 59 GI for fried rice. So what class of the GI for fried rice? 59 is intermediate. Okay, so intermediate GI. How about roti canai? Have you taken roti canai for your breakfast today? Okay, so if you like to eat roti canai so much, please consider, because 71 is from under high GI. So roti canai is actually not for us to take it every day for breakfast. Okay, sardine sandwich 73 also fall under high GI food. Curry puff 54. 54 is under low GI. You can take it for your breakfast. Okay, donut 57, which is intermediate. So it can be one of your options to eat donut for your breakfast. Okay, nasi lemak. How about nasi lemak? 66. 66 is fall under intermediate. Also intermediate GI. And teh tarik. Oh, how many of you like to drink teh beng? Teh beng. So 78 GI means high GI, very high glucose index. So if you like to drink teh tarik, please make sure not to drink it every day, because it will cause your blood glucose increase very high. Okay, next we look at the glycemic index value of selected food for the other food. For example, glucose. Okay, glucose 100 GI, which is very high index of where glucose contains a lot of glucose. Exactly. Okay. Carrots under high GI. Okay. 799. So you can refer the GI index here and classify them into class, the low, moderate, or high GI. So please choose to eat a lot of low GI food. Okay, so what are the tips to switch from high to low GI diet? So this is some tips for you to be practice. Okay, include at least one low GI food in every meal. Okay, so if you eat at least one low GI food, so you will feel satisfied, you will full. So no need for you to eat a lot of food. Okay. Choose food that are high in dietary fiber, such as vegetable and whole grain, because vegetable and whole grains usually come from the low GI. So dietary fiber, as we know, they have 0 calories. Okay, very good for us. Okay, next tips. Eat whole grain bread rather than white or wholemeal bread. Why? Because whole grain bread is classified as low GI food. Okay, white or wholemeal bread is under high GI food. So you choose to eat low GI food. Consume brown or unpolished rice. Brown rice or unpolished rice is actually low GI food. So you better choose brown rice rather than white or polished rice. Okay? So you may substitute your spaghetti or wheat noodle with kujiao or mihun, because spaghetti and wheat noodle are high in glucose, okay, which is high GI. Okay, reduce amount of potatoes, because potatoes is high GI, so you can choose sweet potatoes. Okay, make sure that vegetable and fruit make up half of your meal, so that you will feel full before you eat other high GI food. Okay, this is the trick. Okay, eat whole fruit. Okay, for example, apple, they have the skin, and then no need for you to peel. Okay, so eat with their skin. Okay, it's possible. Okay, make sure that you wash it carefully, okay, and you can eat with their skins rather than just drinking their juice, okay. Okay, this graph shows the carbohydrate content of selection from each food group. Okay, so you can see the food that have high carbohydrate content such as rice, corn, spaghetti, whole wheat bread, and potatoes. So this is a repetition, okay, but in a graph form. Okay, so carbohydrate food sources. So from what type of food we can eat to take to take carbohydrate, to increase our carbohydrate intakes. For example, grains. Grains is one of the source of a carbohydrate. A slice of whole wheat bread, okay, half cup of rice, pasta, cooked cereals provide 15 grams of carbohydrates. Okay. Vegetables. Some vegetables also classified as carbohydrates. For example, sweet potatoes or half cup of the cooked dried beans, corn. Okay, so it provide 15 grams of carbohydrate, as much as a slice of bread. Okay, and a half cup portion of carrot, onions, and tomatoes also provide 5 grams of carbohydrates. Fruits. Okay, fruits also contain a carbohydrate. Okay, so you can eat fruit to take carbohydrate, to meet the carbohydrate requirement. Okay, half cup of fruit juice, a small banana, apple, or orange, for example. Half cup of canned fresh fruit, or one quarter cup of dried fruit provide 15 grams of carbohydrate, including the fructose. Other types of food that provide carbohydrate sources: milk, cheese, and also yogurt. 1 cup of milk or yogurt provide 12 grams of carbohydrates. Meat, poultry, fish, legume, and eggs and nuts. This group provide almost no carbohydrate to the diet except for nuts. So you can eat nuts to gain carbohydrate from your daily